The pain of a father in front of the lifeless body of his 12-year-old son. The Hazaratis were on their way back from a family day out when their vehicle came under fire from a military convoy. That was 2 years ago, but for the Hazaratis, the memories of that evening are all too fresh.
The convoy was in the opposite lane. They fired, I stopped, and they fired again twice. I reversed, and they fired 2 more bullets. The last one hit my son. It went in below his ear and came out the other side. He was killed on the spot.
Civilian casualties have consistently been on the rise. 2009 was the deadliest year for Afghan civilians since foreign troops arrived in the country in October 2001. The issue dominates Afghan views about coalition forces, how they act before, during and post operations. 8 months after his son was killed, Ismarai was asked to go to a military base where he was given $2,500 in cash.
It's not an admission of guilt, it's not an admission of liability, it's simply saying, you know, we're not admitting fault here, but we'd like to make you better, we'd like to make you whole again. So a nation will look to its individual policy and determine whether or not it's the type of claim they can pay.
Countries of the International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, refer to this money as ex gratia, out of kindness or condolence fees. Giving money after harm doing is not a new concept for Afghans. It's a tradition that exists among many tribes, but there are differences as to how to evaluate the cost of human life. Each coalition country has its own rate card, and it can go from a couple of $100 for a loss of limb to a couple of $1,000 for a loss of life. But for many, the amount only adds insult to injury.
Lots of people refused the money. People said that it was an insult to them. Unfortunately, in Afghanistan, our government is not ready to ask those people who brutally killed civilians to be accountable.
For Ismarai, the pain and the anger at the loss of his son remain.
If they don't give me my rights, I'll take my 4 sons to train and become suicide bombers, and I'll join the Taliban. There's no other way. You see these children? I'll give them to Osama.
Zariolai was his eldest son. Ismarai keeps his school records. He was a good student. All that is left of him are 2 pictures and a pair of shoes. Hoda Abdel, Hamid, Al Jazeera, Kabul.